is time that we are going to jump onto the grand finale of this story. Yes, we are going to be ending this off with a very unique story here. Now, with this one, I'm just going to say it is another bonus miscellaneous, and we are going to be going outside of the theme of animation and movies. But one thing that I will say, you don't have to be a marketing expert, or you don't have to work in business and marketing to understand that this has to be one of the most disastrous marketing campaigns in recent years. And what I am talking about is gonna be the baby nut. Yes, some of you might be a bit acquainted already to this baby nut, and this one does come with a pretty fascinating story. So let me go and tell you the whole thing. Let me go and start things off at the beginning, because the story with this baby nut, it actually started a few weeks ago when planters made a whole campaign about the death of their mascot, Mr. Peanut, whom I believe is about 104 years old. They made this short little video where Mr. Peanut was driving with two of his buddies who are two celebrities. I forgot their names. I think one of them is Wesley Snipes. But apparently, they drove off the road and they were, they were about to fall and all of them would die. Like they were holding onto a branch. The branch was breaking and one of them has to let go in order for the other two to live. And Mr. Peanut decided to go and sacrifice himself. And from there, planters just made an entire huge social media campaign where all the other corporate, corporate social media accounts would come in and pay their respects to the death of Mr. Peanut. And that was at one point all one major thing. However, there was one problem with that, and that is timing. Because holy crap, timing played a major factor in how bad this marketing campaign is. Because the whole thing about the death of Mr. Peanut is that this was all major hype for their Super Bowl commercial. Like, this was all set up to what's going to happen in the commercial. And from there, that's when they would go and prepare things up, and like they would all say that, oh, make sure to be ready to watch the Super Bowl commercial where we are going to see Mr. Peanut's funeral. And from there, the timing was pretty bad because it was already bad enough that the video was released at the same time as the death of Monty Python member Terry Jones. But then there was another major news that occurred where death became a pretty bad and serious topic with the passing and unfortunate death of Kobe Bryant. Now, planters from there, they did state that in respects to Kobe Bryant, they would go and try to delay the funeral thing because now death is not necessarily a joke and not necessarily a thing that you would want to use as a campaign to sell your peanuts. But eventually, they decided to say, screw it, and we're just going to go and release the commercial anyways. So, from there, they decided, yes, on the Super Bowl, they did release the commercial, and we did see the funeral, where we see random celebrities that are crying and sad of the passing of Mr. Peanut. And we do see some crossovers as well, where it was also featured that we saw Mr. Clean and we saw the Kool-Aid Man who was crying. And apparently, I don't know what the Kool-Aid Man had, but I guess you could say the Kool-Aid Man is a Pokemon, because his tears managed to bring Mr. Peanut back to life. Well, not entirely. His tear dropped in the gravesite of Mr. Peanut, and suddenly some plants sprouted out, and then we have the baby nut, which is essentially Mr. Peanut is back to life. You know, everything's back to normal, except now Mr. Peanut is a baby, trying to make a big-eyed, cute little baby. And immediately after the commercial, planters just said, all right, here's the baby. Now buy our merch. I kid you not. Planters immediately announced that you can actually go and buy t-shirts and even plushies of Baby Nut. And from there, they did try to make it more of a viral sensation, as much as they did when they have announced the passing of Mr. Peanut. So they try to make Baby Nut popular, they try to make it trending, they try to be cool and hip with the young kids. But apparently, the way that they tried to do so was a bit of a disaster, where apparently they've crossed the line with Twitter, and they had to go and intervene. Which I'm going to go and read a little bit from my source here on The Verge, where it actually explains, where is it? Yes, it says here, Insider first reported that the official Mr. Peanut account was retweeting accounts created before the public could have any knowledge Baby Nut would soon come for us all. Twitter's rules do not allow accounts to artificially amplify or suppress information or engage in behavior that manipulates or disrupts people's experience on Twitter, especially as it concerns commercially motivated spam and multiple accounts. So basically, what they're trying to say is that planters tried to go and spam their way into making Baby Nut a popular thing, even to the point of creating fake accounts in order to actually make it trending, to make it popular, in order to manipulate with the algorithm so that Baby Nut can end up getting a prominent place in popularity, in order to get a prominent place in trending. So that's the big thing, but apparently that seems to be breaking the rules on Twitter. So from there, they cut it out, and immediately the Baby Nut meme was just dead. And as I've said before, all this just feels like a total marketing disaster. Like, it was pretty bad the way that they tried to make Baby Nut a major thing, because I will say, all this just feels nothing but corporately artificial. You guys want to talk about younger versions of characters? Now it is the time to do so. It just feels so obvious with the way that what Planters wants to do is that, or what they wanted to do, is not just make a prominent Super Bowl commercial. They wanted to make something that would last longer. They wanted to make something that would really get people talking on social media. And they almost achieved it well. They had a great build-up. Like, they got a lot of people's attention with the passing of Mr. Peanut, which is probably the most attention that Mr. Peanut had in literally decades. But then suddenly, when it was revealed that, oh, they just want to make a Baby Nut, that's when people immediately got turned off and got immediately called out. And from there, the problem with Baby Nut, the reason why it failed to appeal with audiences, it's mainly because we know that the reason why they wanted to make Baby Nut is mainly because the baby trend is it's so popular right now. Like, I know I gave Gru a pass because, like, the young Gru was already done long before this trend was popular, but look at nowadays. Pop culture right now is in a position where it is filled with babies. Like, of course, we got Baby Shark, which I could debatably say that's the one that probably started this whole baby trend all over again. You got Muppet Babies, which is back on the mainstream, which is back on television. What else do we got? Oh, and of course, who could not forget to mention, we got frickin' Baby Yoda, which is probably the one that really pushed it to become massively popular. So, well, Baby Yoda, or the child from The Mandalorian. And not only that, but there have been some people who even mentioned what else was there? There was Baby Groot. And holy crap, I'm looking at the chat wall, and oh my god, you guys, wow, you're even bringing up a lot of great examples. Like, there's so much more. There was Baby Sonic in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. There was Baby Moana in Moana as well, considering that not only did she appear in Moana, of course, but also that she also made an appearance in Ralph Breaks the Internet. What else is there? Let's see, Baby Moana, Baby Sonic. Yeah, there's also Scoob. technically there is a Scooby-Doo where we saw the younger version of Scooby in the trailer, and also we saw the younger version of SpongeBob in the Sponge Out of Water trailer as well. So we see like younger versions of characters are just all over the place. It's the 80s and early 90s all over again. We're stuck in a time loop right now. And the thing is, but with many of those things, like a lot of them, they can get a pass because they are a part of the story that they want to tell. Like, yeah, we do see Baby Scoob and Baby SpongeBob and stuff like that, but that's mainly used in order to tell their backstory. There is a reasoning for that. And then we got the child, where technically it's not really Baby Yoda, but I mean, it is a part of the story in order to tell what they want to go and tell. Like, there's a lot of different examples, and another one, like Sonic, for example, that's also another one where it's like, it's meant to go and tell its backstory, which, by the way, considering that I have seen the movie, this is just minor spoilers, and this is already something that we have seen just in the opening, and that's it. But by the way, here's something a bit unexpected that I just need to say. Sonic's mother makes an appearance in the Sonic movie. And believe it or not, she's a giant owl. Yeah, just keep in mind that. Yes, Sonic's mother is actually a giant owl. So I thought it would be interesting to go and mention that. But anyways, going back into this, and they barely even mention that as well. Like, everything just happens so fast. But yeah, that's basically the thing that happened in the Sonic movie. But going back into this, going with the Baby Nut, you could tell that the only reason why Baby Nut exists is mainly because they want to go and hop on the trend of the baby characters that we have in pop culture. That they're hoping Baby Nut could also be another one that can be popular with all the others. It's like, oh, if you make I just realized another thing. Another thing that really does capitalize a lot on this baby trend. A whole movie about a baby. The Boss Baby. That is another one that we need to throw in on this frickin' baby pile. But with this one, okay, anyways, going back onto Baby Nut here, like, you could tell it is so, like, they just wanted to do it because, oh, babies are popular, babies are trending, so why not go and make Baby Nut? So, like, let's just make a baby version of our mascot, and hopefully that will sell more. And from there, like, it really does pull up the curtains to show how everything about this feels fake. And here's actually a pretty interesting fact in here. It also did mention about the idea of, like, the start of this, like, the whole death of Mr. Peanut. And and it actually states here, I just want to read a little bit. Where does it say? Okay, yeah. It even says, excuse me. In an interview with CNBC, Planter's ad agency, Vanier Media, said that it was inspired by the online reactions to the death of another fictional character, Iron Man. So basically, even the whole start of this, even the whole death of Mr. Peanut, was just made because someone else did it, it got reactions, so let's do it as well. Like, apparently they saw how people reacted to the passing of Iron Man when he sacrificed himself at the end of Avengers Endgame, and they decided they want to try to do that as well with their mascot. And it shows how, honestly, overall, this really feels nothing but corporately artificial. That they're just doing these things, not because of, like, a clever marketing campaign, not just because, like, they got a clever idea, but they're just jumping on trends. They're copying others in order to go and, try to capitalize. They're capitalizing on other people's ideas. That's the best way to put it. They're just doing it because other people are doing it, and they receive popular results, so they want to have their piece of the pie as well. And that's why everything about this is a disaster. Where, yeah, the build-up, it got a lot of people's attention, but the payoff of it, the result, it really is something that really put a lot of people off. And the way that they handled it as well is also a disaster, considering that Twitter has to intervene and cut them out of it. That apparently, in order to make Baby Nut popular, they ended up crossing the line on Twitter. So overall with this, I can't help but feel like this whole thing with Baby Nut, the death of Mr. Peanut and stuff like that, it's just a disaster. Like, all this was just trying to go and copy what other people have done, try to do things that are trendy, that are popular, to make people talk about them on social media, and what ended up happening, and the result that we got is just, it's just, like, not necessarily something that would capitalize on the trend, but debatably something that could be the start of the end of the trend. If anything, if in the future, I'll say right now, if this whole baby trend is starting to die down and it becomes unpopular, then I'm gonna say I would blame Baby Nut on it, because that's the one where it really crossed the line. That's when people are starting to realize that now corporations are trying to capitalize on the fudge nabbit. Woo! Okay. I usually have burps, but I don't know if I had a sneeze before. Anyways, going back onto this, like, you could tell, like, honestly, I do feel like Baby Nut is the one that's going to kill off this trend, because now people are realizing that corporations are trying to capitalize on a trend, that they're just doing things because it's popular right now, and it's at the point where it's getting ridiculous. So I would probably blame Baby Nut on that. And if there is one more comment that I would like to make on this, honestly, with the whole thing that happened, with the passing of Mr. Peanut, the funeral, and Baby Nut, I would like to ask one important question. How does this sell peanuts exactly? Like, how does all this make me want to go and buy Planters peanuts? Like, what makes me, why would I look at this baby peanut and say, like, yeah, this makes me hungry for peanuts. I'm gonna go and grab myself a bag of peanuts. How? I just want to, like, with the whole thing of making people talk about Planters and stuff like that, maybe that's not necessarily the goal, but overall, the whole point of this is to try to sell peanut snacks. And I'm just wondering, how the fridge are they doing this? Like, what is this baby trend? What does this baby trend have to do with selling peanuts? If you can find an answer, maybe you'll know, but for now, I just really don't know. Okay, so with that said, I would like to go and pass on the mic to you guys in the chat wall, and I would like to ask you, what do you all think about the whole Baby Nut meme and the whole marketing campaign of the death of Mr. Peanut and the rebirth as Baby Nut? Let me know what you all think of this. Oh boy, well, it did clear my sinuses, I will say that. Alright, anyways, after the video of Mr. Peanut's death, I initially predicted that he was going to be revived, a bit similar to when Family Guy axed off Brian, but the end result was not at all worth it. Even its name sounds a little weird and kind of inappropriate. Overall, this is an example of marketing schemes gone horribly wrong. Aside from the Pizza Toots song that's meant to promote the fourth Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. Oh god, the Pizza Toot thing. I don't even want to get into that. Oh god, that's another disaster. That's another story of another disaster right there. But yeah, you do bring up a very good point. The problem with it is that the payoff of all this was just not worth it. It was not worth getting all of our attention about the passing of Mr. Peanut to suddenly have it be resulted to just this baby nut. And yeah, you do bring, and another point that you do bring up, and sorry if I get back into my little perverted mind a bit, but also the name Baby Nut, it's just really bad, especially when nut is more often used on the internet as a verb, as more as a, how can I put this in a classy way? Screw it. I'll just be more in front. I'll just be more upfront about it. Basically, nut is a synonym for ejaculation. You know, it's a more simpler term to say that, oh my god, that thing made me nut and stuff like that. And you know, like, even some people have, like, even during the death of Mr. Peanut, like, there have been a lot of people who have made jokes about, you know, I'm gonna nut one for Mr. Peanut. Like, a lot of people would go and say that. Like, I think even Pornhub made a joke about nutting one for Mr. Peanut. So, saying baby nut, it's not really a good idea, and it can go horribly wrong. Alright. Anyways, let's see here. First there was Baby Groot, then Baby Yoda, then Baby Sonic, and now there's Baby Nut. I mean, what's next? Baby Optimus Prime, Baby Pinkie Pie, Baby Nostalgia Critic. Actually, that one will look like Schwarzenegger Baby from Junior. You probably know what I mean by the Schwarzenegger Baby. Oh my god, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Doug Walker would actually go and do that at one point. Like, okay, like, knowing the Nostalgia Critic, he'll just try to make some, like, satire of it. Like, he's not gonna unironically do it, but oh god, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that will eventually be a Nostalgia Critic joke where there's gonna be a baby Nostalgia Critic. Baby Pinkie Pie, oh yeah, I'm sure, like, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually My Little Pony will jump on that trend. You'll see, that could actually happen. I mean, I'm sure it already happened with the toys, so maybe that actually, maybe that did happen. I don't really care about this since I have a peanut allergy. I love that mentality. It's like, yeah, I'm allergic, so honestly, screw this. Yeah, screw that baby nut. Oh, wow. There are a lot of benefits. There are a lot of benefits to having these kinds of allergies, like not giving a crap about the subject matter and whenever they would be trending. All right, let's see now. Let's see what other comments we would get. Let's see. No, not this one. Oh, it feels like a combination between when Family Guy killed off Brian only to bring him back 2 episodes later, and when Groot died only to be reborn as Baby Groot. Actually, you know, the more I think about it, the more that it really is kind of similar to to Groot and with Baby Groot and stuff like that. It really does feel like it's a similar thing, considering that, oh, the original passed away and then suddenly it's rebirthed into another version. Now, I know that technically that's not legitimately Groot. Like, there is a big difference between the Groot that we got in the original Guardians of the Galaxy and the Groot that we have right now. Even James Gunn did confirm that this is a totally different person, technically. But, yeah, it is a very similar idea. And even with the rebirth kind of thing, where, like, oh, there's this tear, and then suddenly, like, you see these plants sprouting out, and suddenly, oh, here's the baby version. Yeah, it really is similar to that. Let's see, what else do we got here? I think you guys are taking this too far. It's just a dumb commercial for a Super Bowl. And also with the meme accounts, it was just satire. And also, it wasn't supposed to want people to get peanuts. It was just a dumb commercial so people can talk about it online. Are you sure it's just a dumb commercial? Honestly, I have to disagree with you. It's not a dumb commercial when immediately afterwards they would try to go and sell merchandise for Baby Nut. Like, they made t-shirts, they made plushies, they made all that kind of stuff. Like, there is a lot more. Like, they wouldn't just make a dumb commercial for the sake of making a dumb commercial. Like, this is something, like, there was a lot that actually went into it. You can't just pass it off as just a dumb commercial per se. You know, they like, it's not like they just made it just because. Trust me on that. Let's see. I'll just read a few more. Quick thought I had, maybe Baby Nut was created to entice kids into eating nuts, since they're the ones most likely to go after this baby trend. That is a good point. And that's why I want to, and I think right there, you have pretty much just debunked the other comment that says it's not a dumb, like, that this is just a dumb commercial, and that could be the thing. It could, like, this could be geared more towards kids that are into right now this whole baby trend of, like, Baby Yoda and Baby Groot and stuff like that. That is a good point. And honestly, you kind of debunked what I just asked about how is this going to sell peanuts. Well, it's to go and try to make it a meme. Because kids are into memes, kids are into the baby stuff like Baby Yoda and stuff like that. So maybe that could be a way to entice kids into eating their nuts. Which sounds absolutely terrible now that I think about it, but you guys get what I mean. You do bring up, honestly, you bring up a very good fact. Smart comment there, smart comment. Okay, I'm going to go and read one more comment before we're going to go and cap this off. So let me see here. If they weren't messing around on Twitter, it probably would have just been a victim of bad timing due to the unexpected death of Terry Jones and Kobe Bryant. But learning about what the true intent of this is made me disgusted. I get that capitalizing on a trend is a business move for how popular this Baby Yoda trend or Muppet Babies is, this trend or Muppet Baby effect has become in 2020, but how they handled it is gonna kill it off really soon. Oh, absolutely, man. This has done more harm to the baby trend than good.